Hello, Spacers. Welcome to Starlight, a space opera. I'm Isaac, your host and GM for the adventures ahead. This show, whether you're watching or listening, is a labor of love, and one that we want to make the best for you. So if you can, take a moment to freely subscribe or share however is most comfortable for you. Thanks. Now let's plot a course to Starlight. Okay, welcome back to Starlight. We hope you guys are having a blast, and we are... You know, I've been thinking about this. I've been really wanting to open up with the theme song, and I'm not really sure where to go with it. So, I've been thinking that, Cordy just pointed at Nathan as if he has something. Do you have something?
Yeah, he told me he had a theme song ready for everyone.
Oh, I want to hear it.
He was going to sing it.
Bull. I do not have a theme song.
Okay. Welcome to Starlight, my darling. I wanna take you dancing around the space to find three adventurers, spacers as we call them, because we want to be off-brand from D&D. And we will go from planet to planet to look for the Sunmaker. Darling, pull close, because there will be pirates and smugglers and messed up robots, and who knows where we will be. Because it's Starlight! Okay, that's where I got so far.
And if someone could please, put some music to that and turn this into an actual song, Isaac will be free on Thursday afternoons from 4 to 7 for recording, so give him a call. His number is 555-437-2214.
Isn't that the IRS?
6. No, that's your phone number, honey.
Oh. Hey, well, when you're a celebrity, it's hello. I'm Isaac, your GM. We're glad to have you here, and I'm going to pop on over to Atlas being played by
Nathan.
And the Loxodon, Makena Ali, played by
Courtney Yorks!
So at this point, do I keep referring to you as McKenna or Moonmaker? Which one do you prefer?
Or
terrorist.
McKenna.
Okay. Terrorist!
Atlas! Because I haven't really, introduced myself. Hey, I'm the Moonmaker. Nice to meet you. It's more like, hey, I'm the Moonmaker.
Honestly, I wish that we should have a poll for any listeners or viewers on who thinks that McKenna's a terrorist.
That will be our next Instagram post. So, if you're listening, I actually do have a prize. And if you... Let's see. I think that this will be good. From this moment on, all the people who say that they think McKenna should be called a terrorist, you will be put into a randomly drawn raffle for a prize.
And for all the people who think that McKenna is not a terrorist, you'll be put into a randomly drawn raffle for a overly large dice. You get Isaac's dice that kills us all. The black and white one. There's no video anymore. But you will get a dice, and I will personally take it to the post office if you think I am not a terrorist.
No.
Yeah,
you can't buy the listeners.
We are confusing the listeners. I am defining these rules right now. Dear listener, on our Instagram at Starlight Adventures, you will find that we will be polling. And you can throw your answer in, whether McKenna should be called McKenna or terrorist. 2 winners will be chosen. All the people they'll be randomly selected from each list. We partially want to see how many people think McKenna's a terrorist, because we're betting it's 80% of you. But People who say Makena should be Makena, we will randomly draw from that list one person, and people who say Makena should be a terrorist will randomly draw from that list, and so we will have a winner from, say, the light side and the dark side from this day on. Go. Andrew, do you have something to say? I want to get going here.
Just know that I'm watching you.
And with that, we move into Starlight.
Neuralink, access memories.
Accessing. Having been arrested for boosting speeders, aggravated assault, and generally falling into Gorn's snare, the Spacers find themselves escaping from a local detention center on Nanoies' floating platform. What began as a dire situation with Gorn wielding his apparent influence as a member of the local protectorates to lawfully arrest them has flipped in their favor as a mysterious figure comes to their aid. This figure introduces himself as an expert hacker named Thirstein, but to the Spacers he is better known as the one who hacked their Neuralinks upon initial entrance to the Lonely Cord. Without time to waste, he somehow frees both of them, although Makena and Atlas are separated within the facility and must make an escape apart. Makena and Thirstein take a chute that drops them into a murky, watery trash heap, from which they must escape by hacking through its gate, while Atlas has a more difficult path of fleeing through the facility alone. Atlas, recovering their gear from the control room, stands on the precipice. Using the mini camera feeds, he can see everywhere in the building, from Makena escaping to dozens of guards headed his way, and all the way to Gorn's location on the 9th floor. Memories retrieved.
We start as the pin pad to the refuse gate is being worked on. Thirstein continues messing with it, trying to hack into it. There's a... As he fails. God damn it.
Do you need some help? I have a little bit of experience. Might be able to do something.
Oh, you think you have? Okay, please be my guest.
Okay.
Yes, darling, you gotta get in now. Don't play around with it. You gotta get dirty.
18?
Thirstein looks over at you and he goes, "Oh, come on, darling. We gotta get out of here. That's going to pop up on the radar, and we don't really have much time. This way."
Okay. Farewell, Atlas. And walk out the door.
Don't worry. He's with the Acers. Berserker. That man can get out of there.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm hoping. Anyways. And he points ahead and just, pulls his cloak tighter, and there are, some steps that you kind of, pull yourself out of shin deep muck, and you find the bottom of, the steps lead up to the bottom of, a ramp, probably for, some sort of, truck to be able to come down at some point. How good are you at driving?
I'm okay.
Good. He pulls out a little gun and he goes, "This is for insurance." He points ahead and you see what looks like some sort of almost like garbage truck. It just barely floats above the ground.
Did you just threaten me?
No. You're driving, and if I need to use this...
Oh,
come on! He hobbles around the side and opens the door, climbs on into the passenger seat. You can see that the keys are in the ignition. Then he goes, "Act normal. We're gonna have to pass through a checkpoint. Put this hat on." He throws a hat over to you from the seat. "And, change your face again."
Will do. And I turn into a really gross-looking man. What a garbage man looks. Not like garbage men are gross-looking, but sorry, all garbage men out there, I love you. I think you have a very important job, but maybe just a little bit of a greasy hair and beard to cover up my...
Like the movie style garbage man.
Alright. Put that stick into gear and let's go. You start to pull the vehicle up and out, and it starts to rumble with a... It sounds like it's going to blow up at any point, and it continues up the ramp and to the outside of this big circular building. The building itself is completely white. There are a few like grown plants around it, and you can see that the doors are on lockdown. You can see that there are like guards who are standing at the front of the doors. There's like a wall around the perimeter of the entire compound, and you can see like a gate check. And there is one way in and out, and it's at the checkpoint.
I'm gonna ask Thirsting, do you want to just shoot, or should we try to get out?
Well, if we can't convince them, then I'll shoot.
Okay.
But that puts us in the same predicament.
Got it.
Which is, they'll be after us.
Got it. Let's get out without shooting.
Alright. Then drive on over there. And, the bodies, he kind of, like, motions to in the back, and you can see hidden under the like, floor, mats, which are, like, also... Because, like, you can actually stand in this vehicle as well as sit. It has, like, a pretty big room in the back. They have, like, a restroom built in there so that the garbage man doesn't have to get out and just use random restrooms. And Thirsting gets up and walks over and kicks the hand the rest of the way under the floorboards.
You have quite the collection there.
Just 2, in case we have to crash this thing.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah. Why are there bodies there?
They're called aliases, darling.
Oh.
And you guys come around to the front of the checkpoint. The gate is closed. There was also like the additional like arm that's down in front of you, like the checkered red and white. You see a woman. She looks to be dwarven, thick sideburns. Eyelashes are like obnoxiously curled, and she's wearing a really just like, other than that, proper uniform. And she has a clipboard in hand. And she raises an eyebrow at you. That was quick.
Going out for another load?
I don't think you are. I'm sorry. We just got word that we're having a few problems inside between me and you. Hopefully it's quick, but you could be here for, I wouldn't expect more than 20 minutes. I'm not allowed to let people in or out.
Alright, then I guess we'll wait.
You hear a Thirsting next to you, and he whispers, "Convince her."
Well, you know, the garbage it's been collecting up quite a bit, and 20 minutes late puts me 20 minutes late home to the children and to the wife, and when the wife gets mad, you don't want to hear her. It's quite terrifying. So, if there's any way you could just let me out in order to not be home late, the garbage has really been piling up.
Make a persuasion roll.
10?
David? She kind of like leans forward, and you can see that she doesn't, you can actually see like cataracts in her eyes as she's like kind of looking past him, and you kind of get the sense that she's really like, now you actually can see that her hair has been dyed in multiple places, and she's actually elderly, which is probably why she's out here. And she's, "You didn't tell me that you had a wife."
For 20 years, dear.
Huh. The things you learn.
20 years I've been hearing, don't come home late, be home for the children, they need to have you at dinner. You know, the whole be present as a father thing.
Well, I'm sorry. Orders are from orders.
Oh, but the wife is going to hear about this.
Yes, well, you know, just tell her it's Officer Gorn and she won't be able to say anything.
Dear, the children, they will be so sad that I'll be home late tonight.
You hear the sound just next to you, the faint.
Please, dear. Please. I certainly don't want to disappoint my children. Please! And I'm gonna grab onto her, like... I'm, like, pleading for her life because I don't want her to die, but I am trying to make it seem like I just don't want to be late home to the children.
Is this a intimidation roll or like a persuasion? A performance?
Maybe performance? 12.
You shake her and she kind of... Oh! Get up! I could have you arrested for that.
I was late home yesterday and...
Well, you're going to have to just wait. I'm sorry! And as we say that, the scene kind of sideswipes and centers in on Atlas, who now has just saw that blip of Makena and this man making their way out. Your eyes are drawn back to the elevators closing on the 4 officers who got in. You see more coming your way, and then the other thing that you see is Gorn talking to someone, and Gorn kind of stops mid-sentence and seems to look at something on his desk. You can't really see what it is. He frowns. You kind of see like worry lines on his face. You see him lean forward, press a button, start playing with some things, and in like there's like a camera that there's been no monitoring movement on of anything at all, and it seems to be kind of like in like maybe like an engineering core room where you have a bunch of like generators and stuff like that, and you actually see like a row of like bots, and one of them comes to life. It has a rectangular face with little vents that go up and down. There are 2 little eye scanners on it, and it seems to be almost like kind of like heavily armored as it clumps forward out of its wherever it is in the building.
All right. First, I can pinpoint how to get to his location, right, with the cameras, like corridors and stuff, or no?
Roll your choice of skill of either like a survival or an insight.
Survival. 10.
You have a general idea. You're pretty sure you can get into the area.
Okay. If I at least have a general idea, then I'm gonna turn it with my axe and destroy all the monitors. 12.
Okay. So you destroy a handful of them, but spending more time, that's ever more time that you're gonna need. But you know that they're in the elevator kind of heading away.
I'm gonna I'll just start. He'll run towards the area that he kind of got the general idea of where Gorn is. Okay.
You get to the stairwell. It's unlocked. You have like the security card, so you're able to open it and then close it. You start clambering your way up the stairs. You're pretty sure that he has somewhere of a bit of a higher floor. Every once in a while, you intermittently check in the stairwell floors as you're running up. There's a sound of boots coming down the stairway to you, somewhere around like floor 7. In the stairway, there are 2 guards coming straight at you. Weapons, they have like the same like burst spears, but like shortened. And one of them lowers the weapon. I need you to roll an initiative roll versus mine. 17.
4.
So the first shot ricochets next to you, and the second one also right next to you as they both fire from these like burst spears. The same yellowish energy just... One sends off part of the railing, and the railing goes falling to the ground as one of like, maybe like, you're not sure, but like floor 4 or floor 3, and you're about floor 7. You hear one of those doors open, and you hear an officer kind of like yell out as he gets hit by the railing that kind of slams into him. You continue as you're running up towards him.
I'm going to use my movement action to shove him off, shove him off the railing.
I want you to go ahead and make an athletics check versus their athletics check. That's a 20. Dirty 20.
14.
So you push him up against the railing. He kind of scrabbles with you, kind of pushes you back, tries to lock his arm around your neck and holds you in place as he yells out, "I got him! I got him!"
So Atlas is going to know that his situation is getting kind of dire, because obviously he sees the soldiers coming up and then the ones on him. So he is going to rage. Alright, let's try to break his grapple. 21.
So you are able to break it, and as you are breaking it at the same time, the blue lines on your body turn red, and claws and the tails come out. You hear the sounds as more people continue running up the stairs. They're still a little bit of a ways off because this is all happening so fast. One soldier raises his weapon and tries to stab you. You kind of like bat it to the side, and the one in front of you is going to level the burst spear at you, and he stabs it right into your chest.
I'm going to use my reaction with the tail.
So he got a 20.
So 20, so 16 plus 7.
Okay, your tail flicks up, catching the haft of his spear. And you almost sheared the spear in half.
Alright, then I'm going to shove or punch him, or whatever, get him to go over the edge.
That'll be an athletics check versus his.
22.
The other guy backs up just a little bit. I want you to roll an intimidation roll with him.
14 plus 2, 16.
As you turn around after having punched the guy off the side, there is like the sight of like the dragon tattoo you have on your back. As you turn and like your body's still kind of like sizzling with heat, and you have all this like kind of like feral power coming off of you. You see these like very elegant eyes, blonde hair swept back in kind of almost like a man bun, and the faint traces of elven lineage. And this officer raises his weapon. You take one step towards him, and he lowers it with a nod and kind of presses up against the window, or I mean against the wall, and lets you pass.
Atlas, in his rage, because there's still people below me, right? The soldiers?
Yeah.
He's going to try to throw him into the soldiers below.
Athletics check versus acrobatics. As he realizes what you're doing, he goes, I was trying to... And you reach for him.
23.
Oh, you pick him up over your head like Bane style, and he's trying to break free. And you toss him into the first wave of officers as they come around the corner, knocking them down like a bunch of pins before you start to head the rest of the way up the stairs. We cut back over to Makena.
Have a good night's sleep, darling. And then I'm going to put her to sleep.
So you got to make the 8 rolls.
8d8. 4, 5, 10, 15, 19, 20, 26, 32.
So she's in the middle of talking and saying, you're just going to have to wait until Officer... She raises a hand with a finger, just like... Let's overcome with these...
And I'm going to reach falls my to the ground in and press the button to open it.
There is the sound of... And Thirsty looks over at you and he goes, oh, darling, that's much better than this. He holsters the weapon.
I wasn't going to let you hurt her. She didn't spawn.
Fair enough. But we are going to have to do something about this because they spend enough time scrubbing their records, they're going to find it. So take the right, and then take the left. Yes, down Candlewick there. You keep on driving. And do you see the end there? Yes, the boundary. Right where the platform ends and you can fall off the side. Do us a favor and crash us off, will you? And make sure you jump off before the vehicle goes.
Okay. I do it.
The vehicle goes... And you watch as it floats. Both you and Thirstine jump out and land on the metal. Just both of you roll an acrobatics check. And then we're going to have a little roll of fate here. Atlas, will you please roll a die 100? And just don't roll under 20.
18 for me.
16.
So, you both jump out of the car, but Makena, as you're about to leap out, the vehicle starts to kind of like, it has like a really bad like alignment issue, and it starts to curve into one of the buildings. Do you want to let it go into the building? Thirstine's already jumped out on the platform, and he yells, "Come on!"
Can I fix it and then jump?
Yes.
Then yeah.
Okay. I want you to go ahead and make a vehicle handling check.
6, and then I'm jumping.
Okay. You are able to just get it sort of in time as it slams into the side of the wall, taking off a chunk of this, like, what you're pretty sure is some sort of store or manufacturing business. And you just watch as there's just a ripping noise, and then the set, like, you can see sparks and everything. You just barely get it right so it doesn't crash the whole way in. But in doing so, the moment you jump, you land, and you're caught up in the momentum, like a two, rolling to the side from the momentum. You reach a hand out, just barely scrabbling, and just as you're about to go flying over the edge, you grab the side with one hand, and you're just hanging roughly about 80 feet off of a drop-off.
Okay, so I climb back up.
Need you to make an athletics roll as your hand is slipping from the sweat.
Is that 1?
Oh!
I'm gonna yell, thirsty!
And then you start, he runs over, you see the dark shape as kind of reaches for your hand, and you just slip free. I need you to tell me one skill that you're going to try and use to save yourself.
Skill, spell, something?
You're going to get 3 chances here.
Okay.
It can be a skill, spell, attack, anything that might reasonably help you.
Oh.
Woo! That is the worst nat one.
That is so bad.
Ooh.
See, if you just jumped and let those homes just be destroyed, you gotta learn from Atlas. You gotta save yourself.
He has inspiration.
I know he does. He just has to have the kindness to be willing to share his inspiration.
Oh, wait. I thought you could only use inspiration for yourself.
Oh, sorry. This is a house rule I've always done. We can share inspiration. So if there's any listeners who are rules lawyer, that's a special house rule I've always done.
Oh, would that change in that one though?
Yes. Unless she rolls another nat one.
Oh, does that give you advantage or a D?
It gives you a re-roll.
Oh. Now I'm debating on if I let her fall and see what her checks are, or if I save her by the grace of Atlas.
And the answer needs to come in 3, 2.
Alright, you can just re-roll it. If I die though, this is on you.
11.
You scrabble with one other hand just as you're slipping and falling. Thirstein's, the amount that he could hold you, gave you just a fraction of a second more to grab the side. And your trunk reaches out, you're able to grab it, and I need you to roll an athletic check to pull yourself up.
If you screw this up.
15.
McKenna, you start to kind of pull yourself
Yes!
up. And as you're pulling yourself up, there is a crash below you as you hear the garbage truck land and just...
Well, that was smooth. Good job, Thirsty. Now, where are we off to now? That my pride's a little hurt. No comments are needed. Let's go. And I start walking away.
He looks at the wall you've torn off, looks down. You're going the wrong way.
Okay. And I turn around.
And
as I'm walking, I'm going to mend what I can.
We're going to cut back as you send a few bricks and stuff back into the right place.
Okay.
To Atlas, you come to the 8th floor, and you see something that you are not happy to be seeing.
Oh, great.
You know that Gorn's floor is on the 9th, but as you peek in the 8th floor, you see a very slow moving, it looks like repaired over time and been destroyed many times, military killbot walking down the hallway towards the stairwell, and you can just hear it barely fits in the hallway. It's about the size of McKenna, and just you can keep going up to the 9th floor if you wish.
Yep.
Okay, so you just you look at it and you keep going. Yep. You burst open to the 9th floor, or you would if the door wasn't locked. I need you to make an athletics check to break through.
Easy.
16. It just busts down at the circuitry. Ahead, you see a few rooms, but you see a very grand-looking room, probably the place of Gorn. The windows are like shaded, because it's an all-glass door, so you can't actually see what's inside, but you're pretty sure that that's where your quarry is.
Then I'll just bust through the glass, and then on the other side of it, like I kind of revert back to my normal self.
Shards go bursting everywhere as you rush your way through, and then at the moment as you get through, you just feel some of the rage kind of start to wear off, the tail kind of shrinking back into your body, the nails going back and just leaving blood that runs down along your fingers where they grew out of the skin, your teeth growing back to normal, and you immediately feel the blast of a shot just slam into the side of your body. As you see Gorn on the other side, his desk been pulled up into almost like a mock barricade, and he is still dressed in similar clothes. He just hisses at you. I should have known you were gonna come up here. I told them to get rid of you, but they suggested we go this route. Now you give me an excuse to execute you where you stand.
As you know, I work for the Acers. What is your goal with the Sunmaker? Are you an ally or are you an enemy?
I am his oldest friend and confidant.
As you know, when you met the Moonmaker, that he seems to be hunting him down. And with the Acers, all we're trying to do is get information on him and then protect him as maybe a future asset for ourselves.
I want you to make a persuasion roll.
I am not hunting him down. For the record.
17.
He holds the rifle up still. The Moonmaker. She said she was with the Knights, the Naguru Knights. The Sunmaker warned me against those who belong to Naguru. And then she shows me his tattoo.
Yeah, the Acers are using her just as, or an ends to a means.
And if you found the Sunmaker, what would you do with him?
I'd escort him back to our base so we could actually protect him. Because as of right now, they have information on where he's at.
Is my master in danger?
Without the protection of the Acers, yes. He'll have the whole Federation after him.
This is a persuasion roll.
I'm unarmed too, so it's like I'm showing that I'm not aggressive. Like I have no weapon in my hand. Alright. The next roll is 6, so 11 and 6.
You are a berserker. Yes.
One of the best, yeah.
I want to speak with your masters and verify this threat.
Okay, well you'd have to come with me then. As you know, the Acers don't do direct lines. And if you do accept this, you need to pretend as if you're the Elephant's ally that we're with.
And if she betrays us and the Sunmaker, when she
kill her
does,
myself.
He stands up from where he is, but doesn't put down the weapon. You can hear in the background the sound of like the machine made for war.
Exterminate. Exterminate.
Big boy.
And Gorn slowly walks his way around. There are some secrets that I cannot tell without my master's express position. But I know that he lives and serves the cause of the way. And if he is truly at danger, then he would have me protect. So, if this is how it must be, then I ask that I get to bring a few of my men for protection of my own, and we verify this threat and go from there to serve the Sunmaker. Deal?
Yeah, it's a deal. Like I said, though, you do have to pretend as if you are the Moonmaker's ally. Because we still need her for whatever information she also has.
Deal. He keeps the weapon up, but he raises his hand out to shake your hand.
Atlas will shake his hand.
And as he does that, you hear the sound of the robot coming closer and closer. And he presses a button underneath the lip of the...
Exterminate.
He pins in a few more codes, and you hear the alarm stop. And he says, "Wait here. I will go talk to my men and tell them that you escaped." He takes his weapon, raises it past you, and fires it at the 3 windows around the backside of behind his desk, so that it looks like you burst out of the window to escape. And with that, we will cut over to Makena, who is following after Thirstein. And it's not much further, dear. It's a little bit more on the outskirts, but I have a feeling we have more in common than you might think.
Yeah, probably. Something in common. Like hacking neural links, and disguising ourselves, and breaking and entering into jails, and escaping. Yeah, something in common.
Well, the last few I agree, but I never hacked your neural link.
Oh, really?
Really?
Okay. There wasn't a bar where you pretended to be a robot, but you weren't actually a robot, and then you implanted this girl in my head. Nothing? Doesn't ring a bell?
He stops where he is. You guys are standing at kind of like the cross section of the street. There's a single lamp that's kind of like, it has like a light orb kind of floating up out of it, casting like a dim yellowish light down upon both of you. The air is cold and the wind kind of whistles by. There's a little bit of trash debris that goes next to your feet. He scratches the side of his face and he goes, "So you've seen it. The woman, Aphid."
Yes.
"Well, you wouldn't be the first, but no, my dear, I didn't implant that in you. But guilty on account of pretending to be a robot stripper, yes. But not for you. To get information on some of our enemies that we need to outmaneuver."
And who are those enemies?
Well, you've already met her, but we can talk more about her in a bit.
Who?
Thyra, of course.
You know, I'm really not knowing who to trust these days.
Yes, well, Nanoies is in a bit of turmoil as people are trying to join the Federation and people are trying to stop it. Personally, we would love to see that stopped. And
Who
that...
are we?
Oh, me and my employer,
Who's
Mr.
your employer?
Grimble. He continues to walk, and you see kind of like perched up on like a fake, like a artificial like metal hill, is this like seedy looking like factory, and there's like a single light kind of like flickering in and out so you can read the sign intermittently, and it's like hand painted on, and it says Bomb Boys Robo Repair.
And is this where Mr. Brimble is?
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. You see, Thyra needs to get some of her supplies from somewhere, and when her, let's say, patrons break them, well, they need it repaired, and they also need people to clean out the orifices, so we shall speak. And that's where me and Mr. Grimble come in handy. It also makes it easy to slip in and out. So, please, why don't you come on in? He, instead of taking you to the front door, takes you around the back to what looks like a shed. Once you go inside of the shed, there is like a bunch of tools and stuff like that. He moves like a fake crate, and behind it there's like a lever. And when he pulls the lever, the doors, like all the windows kind of shut with like metal. The door shuts with metal, and there's a lift that takes you down beneath the building. is a opening, and it has a kind of like a chain gated fence. He opens it with both hands, he rattles open, and you see a hallway, and at the end there's a little bit of a light. He goes, "Now, Mr. Grimble is he is associated with the House of Dictates. So, if my understanding is correct from what Thyra has told you and your companions, you will not think very highly of us. So, I will put it bluntly so that you're on the same page. Mr. Grimble wants power, like anyone else in the political establishment, and he also wishes to serve the best interests of Nanoies. And if he might fill his pockets while doing so, then he will. And we've had some hiccups with that, both within our own internal affairs of the House of Dictates and with Thyra. So, Mr. Grimble is not a man of refineries. He is cut straight and to the point, and I think that you will find that most refreshing." He leads you down the rest of the hallway, and you come into what looks to be like a room that's been set up as both a mixture of like someone's like garage for like all their projects. You can see a bunch of like forgotten projects put alongside the walls on these like shelves. There is like a very, very small like bar that's been built with like kind of like a mini fridge. And in the center of the room, you see that there's like a sofa and a few like seats around it, and in the center, instead of like, you know, the latest like hollow show or anything, there is an old-fashioned aquarium, and within there is a turtle swimming around within it, and it has like long flippers. It's like a sea turtle, but you watch as its head extends, and it has like, you've seen something very similar. The head looks a lot like the dragon heads on Atlas's tattoo on his back, and you watch as it's kind of just chasing little fish around and eating them when it can. And there is a dwarf standing on a stool above the aquarium, dropping these fish in, and run, little. Oh, thirsty. You found her. And she checks out.
Mr. Grimble.
Yes, that is me. Makena, you recognize this dwarf. You recognize the voice. It is the dwarf that you saw who was with Speaker Hulst when they cut off Mr. Akron's trunk. He climbs down off the stool, walks towards you, and raises a hand out to shake yours. The pleasure's mine.
No, the pleasure is yours. Very nice to meet you. And I keep the hand to myself.
Well, can I get you a drink? Or would you like to sit? Sandwiches, perhaps? Make yourself comfortable first. Then we can talk business.
I am not hungry nor thirsty.
So straight to the business, then.
Yes.
I'm
what
sure
do you need?
Cut and dry. I like it. Something that my friend has forgotten. Speaker Hulst.
And how do you know Speaker Hulst?
Because we are both members of the House of Dictates. I as her assistant, and she as the speaker to the House.
And how is she forgotten?
She has kind of lost some of her way, I would say. How to say it? She fancies herself more as a cult leader. She has forgotten the very reasons that we joined the House of Dictates.
Cult leader for what? Doing what?
Of the family. I know you've been doing some sleuthing, and it's probably only been a matter of time since you found out. Am I wrong?
Found out what?
Well, Thirsty, remind me not to employ Hillier next time. Turns out he's not a very good informant. Well, as you know, and we know, you've been looking into Mr. Akram, the Sunmaker, and over the past few months, my associate, Speaker Hulst, has become fanaticized with what remains of him.
What remains of him?
Well, as of right now, a trunk.
And where is that trunk? And why is it not on his body?
Well, you see, We figured out that after Gorn sealed the temple away, the only way to open it up in the future would be using the trunk, so... The, speaker convinced Gorn to let her in one last time for old memory's sake, and we cut the trunk off so that we could go in as we pleased. Ever since then...
You cut off the trunk of a dead man's body?
Well, mostly Speaker Holst. I didn't know that she was going to go down such a strange path. She needs to be taken care of. And that's why I'm interested in you.
Hold on. I'm still flabbergasted by the fact that you would cut off somebody's trunk. Second of all, use it to get in the temple. That is just so disgraceful.
It is?
Yeah.
It was mostly Speaker's Holst's idea. I'm just her assistant. Like I said, I am her assistant. Originally, I was excited because we were going to move our way into power. I have no particular love for Mr. Akram. I think that he didn't lead the city in a way that was profitable. There was lots of profits to be made outside of the Federation. The Federation has too many taxes, too much control. But a small colony like us, built in the right way, can become fabulously rich and influential, and we can provide a better place for people like myself, but for everyone. We raise all tides, so to speak. Holst wants to keep things to Mr. Akram's way, which is incredibly religious and indoctrinating. Whether Mr. Akram actually lives as he says or not is only the gods will know. But that time has passed. Holst, however, has come up with some harebrained schemes that I do not agree with, such as setting up programs around the city so that you can see visions of Aphid, I believe. You are not the only one to see it. Many citizens have seen it. Holst is the one who has maneuvered herself in charge of some of the burial and cremation services. She gathers the bodies. She has Gorn help her. Gorn? I don't know how she maneuvered Gorn into helping her, but it's not willingly. I don't actually know much about him. But what I will say is, the Gorn that I know is a radically different Gorn than when Speaker Holst is around. It's almost, I would think that there's some hacking of his Neuralink, forcing him to do things when she's around. She walks him like a dog, gets him to do whatever she wants. Obviously, we also have enemies for reasons that I do not wish to explain until we are on better trust with Thyra. There are many particulars as to why we distrust Thyra and why Thyra is not a fan of the dictates, and so I will go into one small matter with Thyra if you are convinced that you would want to aid her. 1, she engineered the bombing at the House of Roses. Not Speaker Holst, not I. 2, she is a trafficker of sense.
And do you have proof of these things?
Thirstein pipes up. Well, I've spent quite a bit of time pretending to be robots at the brothel, greeting guests into the doors, and I can assure you that not all of them are robots.
I do appreciate your words, and those are nice, and I enjoy hearing you talk at times, but hearing you talk, your words are not proof. So I would like some proof. I will say I am inclined to work with you, solely because I am very, very, very against any kind of religious fanaticism, and that startles me. But I would like proof of every single thing that you tell me. I don't want your words or your stories as proof. I want real, actual proof.
Well, in that case, action! Action is what we need, and action is what we will have.
In that case, proof is what I need before any action is happening.
Fair enough. He sits down and pulls out a data pad. And it starts to create an image.
Can I insight him as he's doing this to make sure he's not changing anything?
Yes.
19.
He seems to be on the up and up. He pulls out what appears to be like video footage. You remember that Thyra had that pretty large man with the mustache who was helping her? He tells you that this is footage from within the House of Roses. And you see this man. He's well covered, and the only reason that you actually ever see his face is he's working with what appears to be like a team of other people as they're moving caskets of material crate, and they hide it into a room. And after they get it, the Thyra's right-hand man says something to them, and that's when he tells the men to go and make sure they cut the footage, make sure that job was done. Thankfully, we have spies who are able to get the information out in time. This video was saved by Host's lover. Host's lover is under the assumption that we are going to use the videos to make sure that Host is okay and not blamed for this.
Who is Host's lover?
There are some things that I cannot say at this moment.
I need you to say them.
I can't. If you cannot trust me to keep my word in protecting someone, how can you expect me to keep my word with you? That's not the way business is done.
Okay. What do you need?
Watch the video. You watch as Thyra's man, then once they come back and it seems like they've cleared most of the feeds, as they're leaving, he kills every single one of them. Just like a shot to the back.
Wow.
Thyra planted those explosives. I can't exactly make a move on it, and I would like it if you made the move. If you can prove that Thyra was behind that, I will give you Host. There, you seem rather fond of your friend's trunk, as you said. You will have that back. Host will be gone, and I will be in position to take over the House of Dictates. It's a win-win.
And how am I expected to do this?
By saving Host's lover.
And I don't know who Host's lover is.
And now you get to know. She is a vat of ooze, roughly in the shape of a brain. Thyra had her kidnapped. Thyra is well equipped at trafficking people. Thyra uses the orphanage as a way of staging these transfers of people. I want you to break into the orphanage. If you can shed dirt on the synthetic movement she's been doing, great. Fine, that strengthens my position even more. But if you can find Host's lover, well, reboot her, get her memories back online, and I will have someone who has a first-hand account to confirm these videos that were sent. As it stands right now, this is only so good with the way people can manipulate videos as now.
Okay.
And he raises a hand to shake yours.
And I shake it.
We cut for the last little bit of this episode back to Atlas. You've been moved to a different room once Gorn has made sure that the cameras are off, made sure that his men are no longer there. And he steps in front of you and crosses his arms and says, "Well, where do we start? You said we need to go to a location. My men have confirmed that your friend, the Loxodon, traitor, has escaped.
I do have some information on who I believe she escaped with. She did have help. But as of right now, it's going to be just exchanges of information. I know you want to speak to my family, so basically it's just when and where we have to make that trip.
Is it close?
Yeah, it's pretty close. We can just head over to Sanctuary and get there where we can have a direct connection to the family.
And the man with the hats, he is with you, no?
Yes, as of right now, again, there's a lot of unknowns we have about him, but we're trying to. The Acers are basically trying to figure out if he is either going to be an asset or a threat. And as of right now, it's kind of the same thing as we have with the Loxodon. Is we need to find out if we can gain some benefit from them, or if they are a threat to what we're trying to accomplish. Then I just have to take them out. As you know, that's the job of a berserker, is to be on the front line.
He kind of purses his lips, frowns, and says, "So many unknowns, and the elations are coming. It would make sense if there's danger to my Mr. Akram. I've selected my men. 4 of them will be with us. They will be of help so long as there is no threats against me. Consider us allies.
Perfect.
I have transport that we can take." He takes you to the lift. You guys go and descend deep down into the building into a series of shuttles. There are a few officers there, but he sends them away before you walk out. And you see not a dragon, but you see a Corvette starship. And you guys climb within. He takes a seat. It doesn't have any rooms or anything like that. It's meant more from point A to point B, but it's comfy enough. There is a pair of fluffy dice hanging from the front of the window, and he turns on the vehicle, and whatever his last music was, sounds like some sort of rock and roll, similar to the what was in that room, and the vehicle kind of comes to life, and it starts to as it starts to rise and turn and move out of the docking bay up into the sky. With that, we end on 2 handshakes to solve a problem. So, with that, I think we move on.
We'll see you soon.
All right.
Yep.
Have a good one, Spacers. Till next time.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Starlight. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe. For early releases, exclusive RPG content, and other bonus material, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/starlightadventures. And to reach us for questions to be aired, email us at thestarlightadventures@gmail.com. See you next Tuesday, Spacers.